Vacationing in orbit sounds like a dream. When will it come true? And so many questions left unanswered. How will you prepare? How much is a ticket? What will food be like for space tourism? And what living conditions and dangers await you? All of this we will tell you in today's episode. Now all the media talk about is the dawn of the new era of space tourism. But what do we have right now? Both Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin count themselves among the industry leaders. We've talked about them in detail on how and where and what they fly in, and you can see that here at the issue in the tip. But both companies only offer a few minutes of weightlessness. Then there's the company's Space Perspective. It offers a comfortable 6-hour journey on its stratospheric balloon, Neptune, for up to 8 tourists. But they will only fly 30 kilometers. In the capsule, you'll enjoy a 360-degree view and a bar for 6 hours. The ticket costs around $125,000, and that's modest by most cosmic standards. But the experience is absolutely different. Nevertheless, tickets are actively being sold and the first flight is scheduled for 2024. A more interesting experience offers tourists SpaceX, replacing the docking unit in the Dragon capsule with a glass dome for visibility. The company sent 4 tourists to fly around Earth for 3 days with the Inspiration 4 mission at prices of $55 million per seat. What really set the mission apart from all the other missions was the lack of a professional astronaut on board. The Dragon capsule is autonomous, and SpaceX has the ability to control the capsule from the ground if necessary. But if contact with the flight control center is lost, the tourists have to handle everything themselves. The Inspiration 4 crew's preparations for the flight lasted less than 6 months, but were quite thorough. Passengers studied manuals, took quizzes, spun around in a centrifuge, and ran mission simulations, including emergency drills. Roles were also assigned between the campers just like in a real crew. One was the captain, second was an assistant, required to monitor the ship's systems. The third was trained to repair the systems, and the last member of the flight had to perform a series of experiments. 2 members of the crew were trained to use various drugs, including sedatives, because the passengers were not subjected to any compatibility test, and 3 days in confined space is still a test. But why is all of that important? Because the development of space tourism requires lowering health requirements for applicants and developing a new approach to their training. It must become as fast and as elaborate as possible. But we go even further. An even more interesting experience for tourism is offered by the industry pioneers, our native Roscosmos and American company Space Adventures. Their cooperation started regular flights of wealthy tourism in the International Space Station, which now cost about $50 million. But the International Space Station is not known for comfort, so, sensing the potential of the industry, there will soon be a hotel in space for full and luxurious vacations in orbit. How will it be arranged, and what will it be like for the tourists there? The company Orbital Assembly Corporation took up the dream and plans to start construction in 2025 and open in as early as 2027. The hotel will take the form of a Ferris wheel, which will rotate, simulating gravity in its capsules. The base of the wheel will be built directly in space using special robot named STAR, Structure Truss Assembly Robot. Then, capsules 20 meters long and 12 meters wide will be delivered from the ground and attached to the base. They will contain comfortable living quarters, spas, gyms, bars, cinemas, and so on. Orbital Assembly Corporation hopes to lease a couple of modules to NASA and ESA on a long-term basis. In general, the hotel will be much like a luxury cruise ship, with a capacity of 400 people and a view over the whole Earth at one time, allowing to meet the sunrise every 90 minutes. Artificial gravity will be at 40% of the Earth's level, and it should reduce the strain on the vacationer's health. The hotel wheel can be spun harder or slower, increasing or decreasing gravity. The creators hope that it will allow tourists to stay in the hotel for months. It's expected that a 3.5-day stay will cost $5 million, not including the cost of travel from Earth and back. But what will be the most expensive vacation in the world? Definitely not like in a 5-star hotel. Now the astronaut's menu is varied: nuts and fruit salad for breakfast, pasta and sausage for lunch, and a few granola bars later, maybe some dried strips of beef and cheese in the evening. But vacationers shouldn't expect a gourmet menu. even though NASA, for example, works with celebrity chefs. Most foods are ultra-high temperature, freeze-dried, and thus preserved. Fresh fruit is very rare, and chips, for example, are not even available because crumbs can get stuck in little fittings or filters. However, good coffee is assured, because back in 2015, a space espresso machine called Espresso was introduced. Vacationing in space will inevitably become a reality. The body and weightlessness works differently. The cardiovascular and immune systems change, but it's the muscles and bones that suffer the most, losing mass due to lack of load. Therefore, in orbit you need daily training in special simulators. With a long stay, they need to spend at least 2 hours a day training their bodies. All additional activities and amenities will be paid. Exit to outer space, about $3 million. Use of the internet, about $50 per gigabyte. But what other services will the hotel offer, and how much will the cost be? We don't quite know yet. After such a vacation, each tourist will need an extra rest and rehab time. But despite all the difficulties and high cost, the space industry is not going to stop there and already plans to create a hotel on the moon. The base we've already been promised, and this vacation will be even more extreme, but more impressive. Excursions may include sightseeing trips and flights to craters such as Peary, the highest mountain in the moon, or the Apollo 11 landing site. And of the sites, besides the landscapes, there will be Soviet and Chinese moonwalkers and memorabilia from Apollo missions, from the flag to the camera of Eugene Cernan, the commander of the last Apollo mission, who left in 1972, believing it would be picked up by the next crew. But vacationing on the moon won't be the most comfortable. On Earth's gray and dusty satellite, temperatures range from 150 degrees during the day to negative 115 degrees at night. The European Space Agency, ESA, is now actively working to ensure that visitors can at least survive in this hostile environment. The goal is to build a lunar village for explorers and tourists in the coming years, and there's no word yet on what the interior might look like, but constant noise from ventilation engines and pumps that will enable people to survive is guaranteed. What else will distinguish an orbital vacation from all other types? A warning before the flight that you might die there. And this is not an exaggeration. Flying into space is inherently dangerous, and anything can happen there. Would you dare to take a vacation in outer space? Let us know down below. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't miss any new episodes from the world of high tech.